We welcome you to a very special edition of the show tonight. Our newscast this evening will not focus on several stories or the stories of the day from NEA, but rather tonight we're going to be reporting exclusively on the city of Jonesboro. Specifically, what happened in 2017 and what we're looking forward to and expecting in 2018. Different projects that we need, some that we've seen get started, some that aren't started yet, and some that may be started down the road. Have you ever thought about maybe having an overpass for the train tracks on G Street? It's one of those things I'm going to be asking the city spokesperson, Bill Campbell, coming up here in just a few minutes as he joins us on set for a live interview with NEA Report. We'll talk to him about that, traffic on Red Wolf Boulevard and what's being done about that, some overpasses that are expected to begin construction this year, along with the cost associated with that, the recycling program and the carts, and some of the controversy around that. We're going to be talking about everything you can imagine related to the city of Jonesboro this half hour on NEA Report. Plus, we'll tell you what the weather looks like, and I wish I could tell you something better, but that's next. Let's get to it.
Stan Morris reporting.
Glad to have you in with us. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like what we're doing around here at NEA Report, please like this video. Maybe even share it with your friends or invite your friends to watch it with you. It helps us a whole lot to get the word out to even more folks across Northeast Arkansas. First up tonight, we want to talk to you about the weather across NEA and very specifically how that we're watching for this weekend. And the possibility for some freezing rain on Sunday. I'm going to get to that in just a couple of seconds in this 5-day forecast, thanks to New Wave Wireless, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. First of all, though, let's talk about tonight. Tonight, we're looking for mostly clear skies. The low drops down to 14 extremely cold degrees, and wind chill values go as low as 4. Then on Thursday, sunny skies with a high near 26, the wind chill as low as 3 because winds tomorrow are going to be a little bit gustier than they were today. Then tomorrow night, partly cloudy, the low down to 13. Friday, sunny with a high near freezing. The low drops down to 16 Friday night. Then Saturday, sunny with a high near 36 and a low of 29. Sunday's why we're here, though. That's why we started the show out with the forecast, because there's a chance for freezing rain and sleet before 9 a.m. And then rain becomes likely. Thankfully, the night before, the low is only 29, right? The hope is that that won't be freezing enough for any of that to freeze to power lines or to anything else. Still yet, Sunday's going to be one of those kind of situations that we're watching, and we're hoping that there's not a big change on the temperatures from, because we're looking for a high near 46, and that will get us out of the worry territory at the very least for a possible winter freeze-out. Okay, so Saturday night, rain, a low around 40 and a chance for rain 90%, and then it will continue to rain into Monday as well. But the temperatures next week are looking to be significantly warmer, with the highs at least in the lower to mid 40s. Hey, it's better than this week. The city of Jonesboro saw a lot of activity in 2017, and 2018 is set to be a bigger year than ever in more ways than one. We want to find out exactly what the year is set to look like and some of the things that we're expecting. So we have our good friend Bill Campbell from the city of Jonesboro. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate the support, by the way, over the last year and a half. You've been awesome, and we're grateful for that as a website. So it's been really the last year was kind of NEA Report's first full year covering Jonesboro. And Jonesboro, I mean, it's as busy as it's ever been. We're seeing more development. We're seeing changes all abound. It's an exciting time.
It's a very exciting time, and it's a busy time for the employees of the city. I mean, we're putting together the mayor's State of the City speech, which by law he has to give once a year, and it's good because it really tells you what we've accomplished. It makes us understand what we've accomplished, and it sets good goals for the coming year, tangible goals that all our departments strive to meet.
You know, the State of the City, I think we actually covered that one last year. One of the, I'm thinking, live streams that we did earlier in the year. That's before, is it before the chamber? Is that when that's given?
The first one will be before the chamber. By law, a mayor has to give it at a city council meeting.
Right.
And so that will be done there. But he'll do it for the chamber and maybe another group or two.
Gotcha.
make his presentation.
You got a little bit of a preview, I think. Well,
I do.
and
I
some
have.
of the progress from last year, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And the thing that stands out to me when I see this is each department sends me information, my department information, and my staff puts it into something that the mayor can present, make a slideshow presentation of, and you take for granted. I know I always did before I worked in government. All the things that it takes to make a city operate smoothly. And if I look at some of these numbers, it impresses me how well we've handled, how well so many people have to handle things to make a city effective. For Jonesboro, for instance, our fire department answered almost 5,000 calls for service.
Wow.
The police department responded to 82,000 calls. E911 received almost 250,000 calls. 250,000.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. And I also launched a true text to 911 system. And so you can text 911 in your location and you'll get a response. Animal control received 18,000 calls, and we adopted out more than 500 pets.
Oh, wow, that's a good number.
Yeah, that's cool. That's saving animal lives.
Yeah.
Which,
I'm one of those that's adopted from animal control. Got a full disclosure. He's like a 25-pound cat.
Is that right?
Yeah, Larry
That's
Rogers.
fabulous.
He insists. He's like, you got to check this cat out. And he brings him out, and he looks like he's carrying a suitcase out.
Yeah.
And it's like a suitcase full of luggage that's spilling out. And he carries him out and just sets him in my arms. And the cat was like panting like a dog. Made my best friend ever out there, though.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool to hear that those
That's where
numbers
I
are
get my
big.
dose. I did think you were saying that you were adopted by animal control,
I
which I was going to say I was too.
Okay.
But
Thanks. No, that's a different story.
That's a whole nother.
A whole nother topic.
Right. And everybody knows, I think, the improvements and the work that's been done at Craighead Forest Park.
Oh, right.
And we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony on January 18th, I believe. No, 17th, January 17th, out there with a lot of state officials. The trail has been completed. The new road and entry and exits out there have been completed and are done and are ready to roll at Craighead Forest Park. And the beautiful thing about that was very little of your sales tax dollars went into that. I mean, we got grants that other cities would have received had we not applied for.
But for somebody that uses Craighead Forest Park, it's one of those areas that over the last several years, again, we have seen transform. We've watched different bridges being built, different pathways, and you can go jogging out there, and it doesn't even look the same as it did 5 years ago.
That's right. That's right. I think it's one of our jewels, crown jewels, and I think it's good for our quality of life.
I agree.
And the mayor's pushed that real hard. Wixon Huffstetler, our parks director, and does a good job out there. And everybody that works at the park is hard. We have campers out there constantly, even through the winter.
True.
And so those parks are filled.
I'm not going to be one of them. Not during the winter.
Not in the winter, but the people that do love it. And we've. The first time I visited it before I moved here, I didn't have any clue that it was a city park.
Yeah.
Because it's state park quality at the very least.
It truly it comes across as state park quality, and I think and this is just an accidental free plug for the Jonesboro Sun, but on today's front page of the paper, some people skating around on the frozen Craighead Forest Lake.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
No, I'm not going out there, but I thought that was a cool visual.
I thought it was a cool visual, but I'm going to tell you, don't do that, please.
Somebody's going to have a rescue out there if that's not careful.
If they're lucky, they're going to get rescued because we're not North Dakota, and this ice isn't going to be.
It's not this thick. It's like it's probably much thinner than that. So
yeah, that's bad.
Oh.
Bad stuff. And our jet ridership, sometimes people worry about our bus system. We grew 20% this year.
That's good.
Yeah, our ridership is. Well, I don't have our exact ridership.
But I can tell you from
huge.
perspective, I've seen more people than ever using jets. Right. Again, several years back, as somebody that's lived here for a while, you would see people using it sparingly, a little bit, and now the buses are oftentimes full. The bus stops are full, so it's more than ever.
And we're putting putting canopies up over a lot of the bus stops. I think we're going to put 14 more this year. We've got 29 right now. So.
Okay, so it'll be a nice, bit of an easier area for
You're
people
out of
to
the
stay.
weather a little bit, yeah.
Sure.
When you're waiting for the bus.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
Yeah, we've just got a lot of cool things. You know what it takes for a sanitation department to run, and you know what it's like when it does not run efficiently. And so it takes a lot of skill, a lot of hard work, and sometimes in bad weather or certain circumstances after a holiday when people have been off, just a little bit of magic and persistence to make all that run and make your city good and safe and quality.
Well, and speaking of the sanitation department, there's a bunch of changes with that coming with the year. I know that there's the recycling program that's going to be implemented. Probably a lot of people, I mean, we've got a recycling program, but with the carts, I know a lot of people are going to be happy to see the carts. But there's been a little controversy, I guess, surrounding that too.
Yeah.
Some people don't really want to pay.
Anytime you change something, and anytime you use the word pay, it's something people are inquisitive about. And you know what? That's good. I think you want to keep your government honest. I think you want to make sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with questioning your government about why you have to pay something, whether that's city, state, federal, and but this is the bottom line. The contract that we have with Abilities Unlimited to pick up the blue bags was not covering their expenses. We still want to partner with Abilities Unlimited, and they will continue to distribute what we collect, but we have purchased we are purchasing two one-armed bandit sanitation trucks. That's what we call them. And
right.
That's the one where you see the driver. You know, it only takes a driver. You don't have anybody riding on the back of the, like when we were children, and you know, you had two sanitation workers on the back of each.
There's
truck
probably still communities that have that.
I'm sure there are, and I'm glad that we're not one of them.
Yeah,
because
indeed.
It's a heck of a lot safer.
Sure.
And so we'll have two trucks like that have the arm that goes and lifts up what are going to be new containers. We don't call them bins, we call them carts. So they will be a little bit smaller than the green cart you have for your trash. And if you order before the system starts next July, it's $20 plus tax, so like $21.75 or something like that.
That's good.
You can buy it online. I think there's a $2 processing fee if you buy it online. Otherwise, you go to collections at the municipal building, 300 South Church. Call them, call the city hall, and ask to pay. You can use a credit card, or you can even mail us a check to get your first cart for a deeply discounted price. Because when the city is going to bid out the opportunity for these containers, and it's going to cost the city, I think we've determined, in the ballpark of $47 to $50 per container. And after July, that's what it's going to cost to add. Or if you want a second one, some people you do a lot of recycling. If you want a second one, it costs that. But here's the thing, some people don't understand. Jonesboro does not charge for recycling. I don't know of any other cities. I'm sure there are somewhere, but I don't know I certainly don't know of the cities that do not have any fee for recycling. So, you know, you get your tax dollars somewhere, and $20 for a one-time investment is a good deal.
Especially when it's half of the price of what the actual cost is, right?
Yes, and it will be more efficient than the old blue bags. First of all, the blue bags themselves weren't recyclable, which
that was kind
of a bit of a problem.
Catch-22 moment there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And you don't have to you can just put the stuff in the bin. Now, you will have to take your glass. We won't be taking glass because obviously glass would shatter.
Yeah.
So you'll have to take it to Abilities Unlimited if you want glass recycled.
How about newspaper? How would that work?
All newsprint, all paper, plastics, the certain types of plastics such as water bottles, milk cartons, cardboard, and some aluminums such as Coke cans and things like that. That's all those things will be included.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So it's really, the glass is kind of the one that you've got to watch out for.
Glass is something that we will not be able to pick up
Yeah.
for you.
But that makes sense because you'd have broken glass
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, it would be a bad deal.
It'd be a disaster.
Somebody would be hurt.
Indeed. Now, we are seeing, like you mentioned, $50 if you wait until June plus tax and processing.
To July.
July, excuse
Yes.
me. And then that's okay. Don't worry about it. But it's 20 for your first one before then.
Correct.
Makes a lot of sense if you're planning on recycling. And come on, I mean,
It's a bargain.
It's also a good thing for our community too. Anybody
Right.
that's ever driven to the landfill knows that thing is a mountain,
It is.
and there's no way to stop that. But maybe if we can do a little bit to keep that mountain from growing so fast, it helps.
Recycling is a participation sport. We don't require you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You sign up if you're earth conscious. I'm not saying you're not earth conscious if you don't, but recycling is a good thing. It's a cool thing.
I agree.
And I think it's a modern way to take care of our planet.
You know, I myself will go out recycling a lot. I'll go up and down different roads, graveyards. I'll take the blue bags myself. Now I'll have to take a little bit. I'll take my own bag and then dump it into the
Yeah,
car. That's
that's cool.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'll come back with a whole truck full of stuff sometimes
Very
and go through
nice.
and sort it. My favorite thing after that, you post it online and show people. It's like, hey, look at all this stuff we got out of the roads today. Me and a friend will go.
Very
So
nice.
I think that's a
good.
lot of fun
That's a good
to do.
deed for Jonesboro.
Yeah, you know, it's a little. At least it gets me off the couch. It make me make this
You know what? That's
jacket
right.
fit a little better.
That makes exercise feel a little more useful, doesn't
Indeed,
it?
you
Yeah,
got to do it
I
when you
respect
can.
that.
Thank you. But that's just one of the changes that's come into the community that we've got in 2018. I know some of the stuff you and I were talking about that I'm most excited about comes in the form of some of the matching grants that we've got that we're talking some major traffic changes and improvements.
One of the best coups we've done, and you know, we've got a great grants department, and our mayor has emphasized trying to stretch a dollar more than anybody I've ever seen. So it's called a state transportation improvement grant. We've got that will provide us with $90 million over the next couple of years to do a lot of infrastructure and road improvements.
And that cost us to get that 90 million.
A little over $8 million.
8
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
About roughly 10%. Yeah.
So we're paying that, and then we get the 90 million benefit in our
Right.
community.
And
Not
this
bad
is
deal.
money that would have gone somewhere else. It's not money that we could say, no, we don't want it. It's money that would have gone somewhere else.
May as well improve our community if
we're-
that money's going to be spent.
That's correct.
You know.
That's correct. And we're going to add 3 turning lanes on Red Wolf Boulevard, dedicated right turn lanes.
That's
So
great
It's going
news.
to widen that, because if you have to drive down that street regularly, you will appreciate that.
Indeed.
And we hope that those will be completed by summer. We're going to do a bowling lane and Hill Drive connection at a cost of about $500,000. We're going to do Harrisburg Road widening, which is a $2 million project. We are going to, I don't think it's going to be completed in 2018, but the intersection at Southwest Drive and Highland,
Yes.
yeah, so where it becomes Main Street.
Oh,
And-
yes.
And we've had so much development in that. We've had Starbucks, CVS, Dairy Queen.
In fact, I did a story last year on the revitalization of that intersection because
Oh, yeah.
it's now every corner has a new business on it.
It really does.
It truly does.
And then the other one's the high school.
And the other one's a high school.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's work that's needed to be done,
and I
it's gonna
know-
be widened.
That's perfect because I'm just thinking as people are turning from Highland Drive onto Main, there's this area where you merge onto Main, but you also have people stopping to turn
Yes.
into Walgreens.
Right.
So
And you've got those awkward little poles. I
Yeah.
understand that there's a word for that that's not poles, but
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer, so I don't have to use it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's an awkward intersection.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's going to take more than 2018 for it to be completed, because there's some acquisition of right-of-ways and movement of utilities
Okay.
that has to be done. But that's happening.
That's something I know a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to.
Yes.
That's one of those
Progress.
intersections definitely needs it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say we haven't even mentioned one that a lot of folks are going to love. Maybe their favorite, could be arguable, but that we're talking about You know what I'm, you know what I'm saying.
I know
don't
what
you?
you're talking about. The overpass for at the rails on Nettleton.
That's got to be one of the most requested.
It's for the people who get stuck at the trains there. There's nothing more horrendous, I don't think, in their daily lives. I
Because
mean,
it's right between
there's-
work and residential
right.
zones,
You
right?
can't, yeah, and you can get caught between trains.
Right.
It's
Can't go one way or the other.
It's a little bit fantastic if you stop and think about it. It's not cool.
No, indeed. I'm
But
sure
they were building overpasses, and this is something that we're starting in 2018.
it's beginning. Yeah, it'll take a
Not
bit.
completing.
Right.
But that's the future of Jonesboro, and
Man, that's gonna be
and
great.
That's good. Yeah.
Can I ask now? This is I think I've heard this discussed before. I don't think I've heard any concrete plans. G Street with Riceland over there. There's a lot of train traffic that blocks that, but as far as residential zones go, it's not as big of an area that impacts as many. I could
Right.
see that being something down the road that might be addressed, but is that anywhere on the city's radar?
I think that is on the radar.
It is.
It is, and I don't know if it's included in this STIP. I
see. Okay.
can't speak to
I don't
that
think it
directly.
is, and that's
Yeah.
just a speculation, but that I recall from memory. But
agree.
I do recall that having been discussed as something on the radar at least.
Well, G Street is coming on the radar, and it's going to be revitalized, and that's going to take a little while. But it is, we've got a lot of good businesses over there
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
But we've also got some blight, and we've got some problems, and that's going to be a good thoroughfare eventually to get up to the highway and get out to the interstate.
Take Washington all the way to the
Dan,
highway,
yeah.
or Dan, either one depending on where you're coming from,
Correct.
and you can take it, just get straight on the highway. That's generally connect to Washington and go to the highway from there.
Yes.
But I agree that's a great area. I know it's needed a lot of revitalization, and it's one of those areas that I've taken an interest in seeing. So,
Yeah, it's good, and it's got good access to some of our really nice older downtown neighborhoods.
Agreed. A lot of neat stuff happening, really, in
There really
2018 with the overpasses, with the changes. I mean, it's an exciting year economically, and I saw some numbers, I think, with new construction in the newspaper today that said we were building more than we had previously. Good numbers there. Are we expecting good trends to continue that way?
We are being cautiously optimistic. I think we budgeted, our finance department did an excellent job budgeting in 2017, and I think missed our revenue by 0.5%.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty sharp. Now we have seen increasing sales tax revenue over a number of years, but the past year we didn't see the rate of increase that we saw the previous couple or 3 years, which some of our financial experts, like Mike Burrows, and now we've got Bill Resnick is our CFO. They saw it coming. They have told our council and our public that yes, we've had a lot of fast growth, but you can't depend on that growth to be part of your annual budget. You can't depend on
It has
big
to slow
growth.
down at some point, even if it speeds back up later.
Yeah, and even if you're growing, you can't anticipate growing at the same rate.
That's reckless, isn't it?
That would be reckless, and that would be really too much dipping in reserves. And some people have criticized our use of reserves in 2018, but this is part of that STIP. The reason this year we're going to spend a little more because we had to dedicate $8+ million for those major infrastructure projects.
Spend $8 million, get $90 million. I mean, I can see. I mean, I'm being unbiased here, but I can see the logical approach in wanting to do that.
I'll give you 8 cents if you'll give me 90.
Yeah, that's
right now.
That's a pretty.
And I'll chip in. But so it's to me it's a no-brainer, and it's a great way for a one-time extra.
But I guess
expenditure.
that's maybe, and I've seen the debates connected where that people are saying we're spending our reserves, but we're having to pay for the recycling bins. I understand people. It would have cost a lot. How much money would we have spent if everybody bought a recycling bin, or if the city bought those? Would it have been enough to
I think the bins are going to run us in the ballpark of $45,000 to $50,000.
Okay, gotcha.
And so We're not going to. The mayor is determined not to make money.
Sure.
There's no way that this is going to be.
You're still going to be.
This is no way. This is going to be some form of tax.
City's still going to be paying money for each one of those bins. I don't think some people realize
That's
that.
correct.
You're paying 20, but the city's going to be paying about 25 or so.
Well, we're paying probably 45 to 50 per bin.
Oh, on top of that. Oh, total.
As we purchase.
As we purchase them. Gotcha.
And I'm calling them carts.
Carts.
Because
And I'm calling them bins because
because of habit. The same reason I called them bins. I have called them bins in the past.
I watched Win Ben Stein's Money last night. That's why I'm calling them bins.
Ben's a good man.
I like a little Benjamin right now, or a couple of Benjamins.
Yeah, too.
But no, so it's that's set to be. I know a lot of people asking about that. More info on neareport.com. We put it on our Facebook page as well because we know people are interested in that. But you know, economically, I'm excited about 2018 to see what it brings to Jonesboro. A lot of big business announcements came last year.
That's right.
Are you looking forward to some more?
Man, we're thrilled about all the partnerships we've got, and I think as we go forward, you know, we've bought this Lacey property, which is where we anticipate putting an aquatic center.
Yes.
That's adjacent to Joe Campbell Park. We are, I think, 10 ball fields. We're going to put infields that are artificial turf, and ever since, as long as I've lived in Jonesboro, we've had major weekend events rained out. You know, these baseball, softball, baseball, kids tournaments, soccer, these youth tournaments draw amazing amounts of people from other cities, even other states.
Sure.
And to spend money in our hotels, malls, restaurants. And we've had to cancel them because we have a rainy weekend or whatever.
Oh.
Well, this will alleviate this, and this is what other modern cities have already done. You know, you can see turf ball fields in most cities if you look around these days. So
When Randolph County made their aquatic center, did it make people here start to get a little jealous?
I think that's
Because they've got an aquatic center,
yeah,
like an incredible one.
They've got a fabulous one, and a lot of people in our between, especially Wixon Huffstetler and the mayor, have done a lot of. I think Gene Vance also has done a lot of tours, and they have seen more than a half dozen aquatic centers, and they're trying to cherry pick the best, what they like most from each one, to bring it to Jonesboro.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
I'd like to see that. So, well, 2018 has a whole lot of neat things in store for us. Can't wait to see this time next year when we sit down and we talk about things. We may have changed the whole world that we live in, so to speak, by then, right?
Yeah, we will, and we'll have graduated. I think no, we will not have graduated our first class of doctor of.
Oh, that's right.
You
said
DO
that.
school.
Will that be? That was when I was at the
was 2
Sun.
years ago,
Was when
I
I did
think.
the story.
Okay.
So I was at the Sun at 20. Oh, I don't even remember anymore. 2015.
Yeah, one of those years.
One of those years.
Yeah, and but we're producing a lot of doctors.
Yeah.
At Arkansas State University, the new.
Oh, that's going to be so neat to be able to see doctors when you see their degree, because you can go to the doctor's office and see Arkansas State University or
Yeah,
you know I think that's great. I'm interested to see what some of the changes, as we're hearing about national changes to healthcare, how that might possibly affect us.
Yes.
Because I think some of that is you know, and again, being completely unbiased, if we roll back a lot of the changes we saw that over the last 10 years saw us get a medical school, if we go back before then, what happens? Again,
it's
national, but you know,
it's national, but you know, like to say, everything's local.
Everything's local.
And you know, you want your loved ones to have the best health care they can get. It's not. I don't think it should be the best health care they can afford. I think everybody should consider health care a right.
I agree. I completely agree with that, especially when I've grown up in Pocahontas, Arkansas my whole life. So, you know, 90% of people around here are folks that are going to benefit for health care for low-income families. And so I think we need, as a country, we have to think long and hard about getting rid of that because it's politically popular, just because it may have some effects on us here that we're not perhaps as ready for in the grand scheme of things. So, with that being said, Bill Campbell from the city of Jonesboro, gracious to take time and join us and tell us what's going on. Thank you.
Man, there's a lot happening at your city hall.
Yeah.
You got a mayor who sleeps. I don't know. I don't know if he sleeps like Batman or not.
He
but
just
he's
never sleeps.
he's planning in his sleep. I know because I get a text before I go to bed, and I get another one when I wake up, and something's happened in between the two. So we're going hard. I think an issue in our city. Some of the things that are still difficult are homelessness,
Indeed.
the zoning concerns about apartments. You know,
True.
a lot of these are not in my backyard type emotions or feelings, but there's still issues that have to be dealt with, and it's interesting. It will be interesting to see how it plays out in the future.
I do, as we kind of are approaching the end of our interview, I'm just wanting to kind of think to myself aloud now. Jonesboro dealing with an influx of panhandlers. Jonesboro also having the debate last year now about the homeless shelter, about the crisis center. Craighead County, Jonesboro. A lot of debates that are going on right now. Now, I don't think those two, by the way, are related. I know a lot of people out there might disagree, but based just on my reporting from what I've seen, the panhandling situation is unrelated to the homeless situation.
I believe that to be true.
Unfortunately,
there may be some cases where I'm certain there are some cases where it is true.
Isolated incidents, maybe,
yeah.
but it unfortunately would appear that is unrelated, just in the sense of you're seeing repeat individuals months at a time.
Right. Right. And
nobody likes to look. No, nobody wants to pick on somebody in need. But
right.
at the same time, you've heard the stories, right? Where
yes.
people say, "I've offered a job." Somebody said, "No, I can make more out here," and I'm sure you probably can make more than $10 an hour at the intersection.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that's urban legend too, because it's just hard to judge someone else in their. But if I'd had that experience with someone, that's probably not someone I would hand $1 to.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I do hope that 2018 results in positive news for us. Maybe more developments in the sense of the homelessness situation. Maybe we can get that crisis center.
Well, that's
to begin.
Sheriff Marty Boyd has got the crisis center. I think he's got that under control.
Seems like he really does. Yeah.
Man, there's nothing worse than trying to house your mentally ill in jail.
Nobody wants to do that.
That's Byzantine. I don't get it at all.
I agree, and at the same time, worrying about the dangers of the mentally ill, left to their own, the mentally ill are far more in a desperate and dangerous situation out on the street or uncared for, when they're desperate and when a cry for help is most likely to be made or heard, versus inside of a place. I think the danger changes entirely, so to speak, and I don't even like using that word there, but the worries and the threats are gone when you look at most cases, when somebody has care.
Well, if you have somebody if people have care, it doesn't matter where it is.
Right.
I mean, and I'm serious about that. I would be happy to welcome someone into my neighborhood, and I'm not saying somebody else has to, but I'm saying that's just the way I feel about it. And I think it's the way our leadership thinks about trying to take care of the homeless. I think it's an essential.
I'd agree.
And we have a good city. We have a caring city. We are about to receive next week an award as a volunteerism city of the year in Arkansas.
Oh, cool.
And that's because of the hard work of so many people, so many selfless people. And there's no way to thank everybody individually, but we've got some fabulous volunteers.
The state of the city for 2018, would you say it's looking pretty good?
I'd say it's looking really good. We are adding 3 residents a day. That's growth.
Wow.
And as they get employed, our unemployment is so low. That's the quality of life that wants to make people come to Northeast Arkansas. I moved here, and everybody talks about Northwest Arkansas. I think they're starting to talk about Jonesboro now, and we saw that in results in a lot of. Is it on there?
It's on.
Yeah. We saw that in a lot of results in like national studies.
You can follow it. It's right there. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. Northeast. This is the place to. So this is the place to be. You know, we're the
I agree,
number one place for success in Arkansas, according to GoBankingRates.com.
You hear more about Northeast Arkansas now, I feel like, than you did ever before, and compared to the other sections of the state, I kind of feel like we have emerged, so to speak, and this is maybe our golden age.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
Sounds like a good place to end it then.
All right, then.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Bill Campbell from the city of Jonesboro taking time out of his super busy schedule to join us, and we are grateful, and we appreciate him for that. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us today on the NEA Report. We'll be back tomorrow with a regular show at 4 p.m. More news from Northeast Arkansas. Remember, if you like what you see, like the page, share for more, and invite your friends to like us as well. I'm Stan Morris. Hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Family Medical